fire, but the one who had been first impassive, then had attempted to restrain the mad throng, restrained him, for the others, leaping at the fire, threw it hither and yon, stamping out with their feet the blaze that had already begun eating its way into the building. It was all over in a minute. The two girls sank down upon the floor, dizzy and sick, wondering what it was all about. Phi found that to rouse the native from his drunken stupor was no easy task. After rubbing the man's forehead with snow, he stood him on his feet and attempted to compel him to walk. Finding that impossible, he worked his arms back and forth, producing artificial respiration. At last his efforts were rewarded. The man opened his eyes and stared dully at him. For some time he lay there motionless. Then, with a wild light of terror in his eyes, he struggled to his feet and attempted to flee. His wobbly legs would not support him. He tumbled to the earth, only to try it again. Rover ran barking after him. "Let him alone," smiled Phi. "As long as he is not in danger of harming himself, let him work. He's doing as much as we could do for him. He'll work it out of his system." In spite of his muddled state, the fellow appeared to possess a sense of direction, for the boy soon found that he had come upon a narrow path leading along the cliff at a safe distance from its edge. As he stumbled forward, the native's falls became less frequent. "Sobering up," was Phi's mental thought. "We'll soon strike a place where the path leads down the side of the cliff. I wonder if he can make that alone, or will he break his neck?" Suddenly the man disappeared from view. "That," said Phi to the dog, "means there's a path leading directly down, probably to some village. If it is a village, there are natives there, perhaps hundreds of them. They have seen white men at one time or another. They may have been badly treated by them and may be hostile to them. If one were to judge by the action of this fellow, he must conclude that they are. But that cannot influence our action in any way. If we stay up here and live on birds, they'll find us sooner or later. Might as well go down, the quicker the better, too, for this drunken fellow will doubtless give a weird and terrible account of us." At that he raced along the cliff top path, and the next moment found himself slipping and sliding down a zigzagging trail which led down the hillside. He was half way down before he caught the first glimpse of the village. Beneath him lay some brown cubes, which he knew to be box-like upper stories of houses of the natives. "That settles one thing," he murmured. "They're islanders. The natives of Russia build their homes on poles, deerskin and walrus skin, tepee fashion. The American natives use logs and sod. Only islanders build them of rocks." For a moment his courage failed him. He was a boy on an island somewhere in the Arctic, his only companion an old and harmless dog, his only weapon a hunting knife, and he was about to enter a village filled with natives. "Perhaps," he said slowly, looking down at the trusted eyes of the dog, "we had better wait. They may all be on a grand spree, and if they are, it won't be safe. Whatever they may be when they're sober, they'll be dangerous enough when they're drunk." But the peaceful quiet of the village as it lay there some hundreds of feet below reassured him. "Come on, old boy," he said at last. "We'll chance it." Chapter 19.